Merry meet Aquarius, Aquarius sun sign, rising sign, and or moon sign. This is a 2-week reading for all Aquarius starting today, the 21st of September, 2024. I'm Ariel, and today I am reading with Tarot Grand Lux by Ciro Marchetti. And I've already purified with this Agua de Colonia Concentrada by Alvarez Gomez. You can find links to purchase those products right in the video description of this video on my YouTube channel. Let's see what's in the cards for all you gorgeous Aquarius starting today. Couple weeks reading, 2 weeks reading. We've got the 3 of coins, the 6 of coins, my goodness, and the 6 of cups. It's a solar light experience for you. Worst things that I can imagine having be the experience for 2 weeks. Solar light. You got 2 solar light cards. You know, the solar light is something that when we experience it and we start to really like kind of let go into the divine design, a lot of people, when they hear about that, they think, well, am I just going to just be irresponsible and just let what happen? No, that's not really at all how it works. It's that you become inspired. You take inspired action rather than calculated, planned action. And the inspired action is always very accurate, because what happens is things start to rearrange themselves and fall into place for you because you are invoking that divine design. And the divine design is like, you know, just think of it like, I don't know, like how a rose will grow. It has a very specific pattern. Each rose is unique. I mean, there's no 2 roses alike, but they all follow a particular pattern because there's a design. There's an archetypal pattern in the rose. And if you try to mess with it, if you try to mess with that archetypal pattern, you try to make the rose be something other than it is, it either defies you and just is the rose that it's supposed to be, or it just doesn't grow. You know, if you try to like, well, I'm going to make the rose, I'm going to make the rose grow in some seawater. That'll work. No, it won't. It won't work if you try to grow it in seawater. It won't work if you try to grow it in beach sand. It's got a specific way it grows and a specific pattern that it follows. And all you have to do is allow the pattern to happen and try not to defy the pattern, and all is well. And that's really where you're going to be for the next 2 weeks, Aquarius, is exactly where you need to be. And when you are exactly where you need to be, everything blossoms. Everything blossoms exactly the way it's supposed to, including me dropping cards everywhere. So the first place it's blossoming, which is starting to happen right now, even though it may not seem like it yet, is in finances. Because you've been working hard. You've been working hard and been like, okay, I'm working hard. I sort of see a little bit of result, but come on, you know. I'm working hard over here, and I was expecting momentum, and I'm not getting the momentum. So you call on that solar light, and you allow whatever that financial, or if it's finances, the coins are frequently finances, but it could be something like health for you too. Whatever physical assets they represent that you've been working on, when you call on that solar light and you align with that divine design, then not only does it allow for the perfect manifestation of all of your work, but it gives it to you and brings it to you and guides you to things and places and expressions of that wealth that you weren't expecting, because you wouldn't have known. There's like trillions of possibilities, and you know maybe 3. You know, and when you're smart, so maybe you can come up with 20 of possibilities of how you think it should work out. And then you're going to disregard those other several trillion possibilities. So we're not doing that anymore. You're going to call on that solar light, or whatever version of the concept of the divine design works for you, and allow it to reveal itself. And that doesn't mean you stop working. You're going to keep working. You're going to basically keep doing what you're doing. But instead of looking over your shoulder for the results, you're just going to allow yourself to have the faith and the trust that the solar light knows what it's doing. And when you do that, then you have a hands-on approach as far as your work is concerned, but a hands-off approach as far as the results are concerned. And that's really what's been needed for you to start to see what you want, to start to see the results of what you want. And it's going to be what you want. But the forms are going to be a lot better than what you were capable of conceiving. So that's not to say that a lot of the forms won't be exactly what you want, but you know, there's an upgrade there too. There's a lot more than what you bargained for in a wonderful way. As that moves forward, you're going to experience that solar light works in ways that are even more vast. It's not just money. It's not just these things. It's not just your work. It's not just wealth, and not that those things aren't important, and it's wonderful that it's working for them, but it's going to be everything else too, as it goes into the suit of cups. So coins and then cups, practical and then universal is how that's going to work for you. And I don't think that you're going to have much resistance to this. Well, we'll see as I open this. Maybe I'm wrong. There we have the 7 of swords, and that's a good one. A wheel, it's a wonderful one. And the 6 of swords. Well, so we've got 3 solar light cards. So yeah, you do have 2 swords, and they're very positive. Very positive. And when the positive swords are referring to conflicts that no longer are troubling you or will no longer be troubling you. In fact, a lot of the troubles that you have already been resolved, and you just have to remind yourself of that. Because a lot of times we just out of habit live in the emotional experience of how it used to be, just out of habit. But it's not there anymore. Those conflicts are gone, according to this reading anyway. And if they're not completely gone, they are certainly on their way of being transformed. This is not just like, it's not like a banishing where the trouble is gone. It's a turnaround. It's an upgrade. It's a transformation. It's a beautification. What was ugly is beautiful in your experience. What was poor is wealthy. What was sick is healthy. What was conflicted is resolved. And then, as you really lean into that solar light and really into allowing, rather than pushing, but allowing that divine design to call forth that blossoming that we've been talking about, this wheel card comes in and starts to expand on that. That's right. The Sun and Jupiter working in harmony for your benefit. Now, the only thing that you've got to remember when you have this wheel card, this Wheel of Fortune card, is that you want to stay centered. You want to have a hands-off approach, because this isn't a typical depiction of the wheel. The old-fashioned Wheel of Fortune, there's these creatures that are hanging onto the side of the wheel for dear life because they're going to get flicked off. That's definitely not where you want to be, because the wheel's going to spin fast in order for your good to be expanded. But if you're involved in all the minutia of your expansion, you're going to be extremely involved in volatility, and you're not going to have a good time. So if you notice that as things are going and moving and you're feeling very volatile, very, very sort of vulnerable to the ups and downs of things, that's because you're hanging on to the wheel, and you're supposed to be on the old-fashioned versions of the card. There's a platform above the wheel where one creature is sitting, looking at everything below, and that's where you're supposed to be. And how you get there is by finding that inner peace, that inner poise, and just allowing everything to be done for you instead of trying to get involved in the expansion. So you've got this 6 of Swords here, which is saying as wonderful as things have been turning around for you, it's nothing compared to what's coming. And every problem that you've ever had, basically, once the solar light gets a hold of it, it transforms it into the divine design. You're taking the rose bush out of the sand before it dies, sticking it into this beautiful soil, and it goes whoosh and comes to life. It absolutely comes to life. And it comes to life in ways that you didn't know were even possible for you. You didn't know that it could be this beautiful. You didn't know that it could be this successful. 6, 6, 6. I didn't mean it that way, but yeah, you've got 3 6s here. 3 iterations of the solar light. 3 out of 4. 3 out of 4. That's a lot of solar light. So if you don't know how to work with the solar light, you can work with it directly. And I have 2 meditations based on the solar light. And you can just search Gotoga Solar Light in the main YouTube search bar, and it'll bring you to both of them. One of them is shorter than the other, but they're both very brief. And just work with it, learn how to use it, and most importantly, let go into it. Let go into it and let it happen. This is your time. As much as many of you don't think that anything's working out as fast as it should, many of you think I'm working too hard and I'm not seeing any results, know that that's an illusion and that's not what's happening. This is your time to shine this next couple weeks. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about when am I getting mine? When is it coming? When is it coming? Don't do that. Don't look over your shoulder. Get into that divine design. Get into that solar light and allow that wheel to expand your good. It's going to be so much better than you can imagine, but you have to let go of your need to see instant results. The instant results are going to come, but when you're least expecting them. Just like when the toast pops out of the toaster, it is instantaneous. But if you sit there waiting for it, it seems to never pop. Or a watched pot never boils, that kind of thing. Get involved in what you're doing for its own sake rather than for the results that you're seeking. And then work with that solar light a little bit every day and just let it work for you. Let it do its thing. And you don't even have to invoke Jupiter. It's going to happen all on its own. Your job is really to just to lean into the solar light, to keep doing what you're doing, and expect the best, and expect it to come in ways that you were not expecting. Expect it to come in unexpected and beautiful, wonderful ways. All right, thank you so much for spending some time with me, Aquarius. We will see you in another couple weeks for your next reading. Until then, blessed be.